In this video, we'll explain MTD, RTO, and RPO, three critical concepts in disaster recovery and business continuity, using simple language, real-world examples, and exam-focused insights. Imagine your core banking system goes down in the middle of a busy Monday. The question is not just, can we fix it? The real question is, how long before this starts killing the business? In the world of disaster recovery and business continuity, three metrics answer that question: MTD, RTO, and RPO. Let's start with MTD, also known as Maximum Tolerable Downtime or Maximum Tolerable Outage. MTD is the maximum amount of time a business process can be unavailable before the impact becomes unacceptable. This is not an IT decision. MTD is defined by the business, usually through a business impact analysis. For example, imagine an online banking system. If the system is down for more than 8 hours, the organization may face regulatory penalties, financial loss, and customer churn. So in this case, MTD is 8 hours. Exam tip: MTD is the outer boundary. Everything else, technology, recovery plans, budgets, must fit inside this limit. Next is RTO, or Recovery Time Objective. RTO defines the target time within which IT must restore systems after an incident. Unlike MTD, RTO is defined jointly by IT and the business. There is one critical rule you must remember. RTO must always be less than or equal to MTD. Example: if the business says the system can tolerate an outage of 8 hours, IT may commit to restoring services in 4 hours. So, MTD equals 8 hours. RTO equals 4 hours. Exam tip: RTO directly influences technology choices. For example, whether you need a hot site, warm site, or cold site. Now let's talk about RPO, or Recovery Point Objective. RPO defines the maximum acceptable data loss, measured in time, not downtime. RPO determines how frequently backups must occur. For example, if RPO is 30 minutes, backups must be taken at least every 30 minutes. Let's say, last backup was at 9:30 a.m. System failure occurred at 10 a.m. You lose 30 minutes of data, which is acceptable based on your RPO. Exam tip: RPO is about data loss, not system availability. MTD versus RTO versus RPO, how they work together. Now let's bring all three together. At the center is the disaster event, the moment systems fail. Looking backward, we see RPO. This shows how much data the organization can afford to lose between the last backup and the disaster. A smaller RPO means more frequent backups, higher cost, less data loss. Looking forward, we see RTO. This defines how quickly IT must restore systems after the incident. Beyond RTO lies MTD. This is the absolute business limit. If recovery takes longer than MTD, the impact becomes unacceptable and the business may fail. In real-world recovery plans, we also consider work recovery time, or WRT. RTO, technical recovery. Time to restore servers, applications, and infrastructure. WRT, business recovery. Time for staff to validate data, test systems, and catch up on missed work. MTD, hard deadline. The total time allowed. The key formula is MTD greater than or equal to RTO plus WRT. If RTO plus WRT exceeds MTD, the business faces irreversible damage, such as legal failure or bankruptcy. Now let's visualize how these fit on a timeline. Picture a disaster happening exactly at 12 p.m. Looking backward, RPO. Look to the left of the crash. Last backup, 11 a.m. Crash, 12 p.m. You have 1 hour of data that never got backed up. That means data lost 1 hour. So, RPO equals 1 hour, you've just lost 1 hour of data. If you want a smaller RPO, say 5 minutes, you need more frequent backups or synchronous replication, which usually costs more. Looking forward, RTO WRT and MTD. Now move to the right of the crash. 12 p.m. The crash happens, the clock starts. 2 p.m. IT brings the systems back online. That's RTO equals 2 hours. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Staff are validating data, testing applications, catching up on missed work. That's WRT. Work recovery time equals 1 hour. 4 p.m. This is the MTD, the hard stop. If the business is not functional by now, the damage is considered unacceptable. That is MTD equals 4 hours. In this scenario, RTO equals 2 hours. WRT equals 1 hour. Total recovery time equals 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 hours. MTD equals 4 hours. So 3 hours is safely inside the 4-hour MTD. The business survives. The plan works. Here's the key formula to remember. MTD greater than or equal to RTO plus WRT. If RTO plus WRT exceeds MTD, you are in trouble. That's when you start seeing words like irreversible damage, regulatory non-compliance, loss of customers, or even business failure. Does RPO need to be less than RTO? The answer is, not necessarily. RPO and RTO are independent metrics and do not have to be equal. Case 1 RPO RTO. This is common in banks and e-commerce platforms. Priority. Data integrity is more important than immediate availability. Logic. We can be down for 4 hours if needed, but we cannot lose more than 5 minutes of transaction data. Example. A bank may have RPO equals 0 using real-time replication. They don't want to lose even one transaction. But RTO equals 2 hours to switch data centers. Here RPO RTO, and that is perfectly fine. Case 2, RTO RPO. Common for content or public-facing websites. Priority, availability, that is get back online fast, even if some data is old. Example. A training platform may need the site up in 5 minutes, but can tolerate losing a day's content. So RTO equals 5 minutes, RPO equals 24 hours. Final summary. RPO answers, how much data can we lose? RTO answers, how fast must IT recover systems? MTD answers, how long can the business survive without the system? And the key differences. RPO is about data loss. It tells you how often you must back up or replicate. If RPO is 5 minutes, you need backups or replication at least every 5 minutes. RTO is about downtime. It tells you what kind of infrastructure you need. If RTO is 10 minutes, you're talking about hot standby, clustering, or very fast failover. MTD is the boss. It is decided by business owners, not IT. IT then uses MTD to design RTO and RPO that fit inside that limit. And remember, MTD is the boss. It's defined by the business, and IT aligns RTO and RPO to stay within it.